And it looks like we're live. It looks like we're broadcasting the tabletop simulator screen, which is good. And hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 30. The title of today's episode will be Resurrection, and it is Part 1 of the season finale for Season 2 of Traveler. I don't know how many parts there will be for the finale because I am not going to rush through this. Also, because I am on travel, there's a possibility we're going to have sound or communication issues and we have to cut the stream short. Also, because I'm on travel, I did not prepare past a certain point, so we will be doing a little bit of theater in the mind, and then for the next part I'll come back with prepared maps. I apologize for not having all that ready, but I couldn't do another ad hoc episode. I mean, I could have, but I felt like it was getting to be time. More and more of my conversations with you gentlemen has been really centered around next season and what you would like to do in the future, rather than stuff from last season. I'm going to see if I can boost my microphone. I don't know if I can or not, but I'm going to try. Okay. That may have boosted me, perhaps, but I don't know how much. Okay. So first off, do we have any questions about how we're going to proceed for the finale?
None
No,
from me.
yep, no questions. Gentlemen, it's been an honor.
Good here.
It will be glorious.
I do believe two of my players have the correct mindset. Kizik, did you get a chance to listen to everyone? I realize it's going to take you a minute to answer back.
You're still low, but everybody else sounds great.
Fantastic. I sound fine to you guys in Discord, though, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, I'm just gonna see how high I can jack this up before it screams at me. Okay. Check my volume now, please.
You sound good.
I was talking about on stream.
Yeah, I've got it up.
I am the very model of a modern major general. I don't know the words to it. I used to. It's very fun to recite. People get really aggravated. Alright. So, let me pull up all of my notes here. I hope I didn't miss anything, because if I mess this introduction up, it's going to ruin the entire finale, because you guys are going to make incorrect assumptions. We start the session, and we are flying kind of as the crow flies from previous Dresden campaigns, but we'll say it's more of a spectator drone, through the Serendip system. Now, the Serendip system, as you are aware, are made up of series of asteroid belts, many, many, many series. So no actual planetary bodies in the Serendip belt. And the Serendip belt is a member of the Allies section of the Allies versus the Axis war that's going on in the Great Rift island sectors, old and new islands. The Serpentina people, who have allied with the New Bern and New Colchis systems, make up the Axis powers. The Serpentina people are also the foot soldiers of the Temple of the Synthetic Unity, a group that, from the very training episodes of Season 2, before we even had Episode 1 of Season 2, the Duchess Maria Evans has been an ongoing villain, and she has formed this cult/religion around the idea that humanity needs to evolve into a synthesis of man and machine in order to progress forward. Her motivations for this, other than possibly being batshit crazy, are sort of unknown to people, but she's been a reoccurring character and a reoccurring villain over this time. Maria Evans has a ship called the Citadel of Unity. It is a dreadnought vessel. It was designed to be her personal yacht and is the size of a small city. And it, along with many Serpentina support craft, have jumped into the Serendip Belt and started wholesale slaughter of anything in their way. Almost at exactly the same time, Agent Jones and his fleet of ships jumped in on the other side of the system. Is that the right bag? This is the right bag. He has a much smaller ship than this dreadnought. His ship would have been considered a dreadnought hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago maybe. But it is old and out of date now. And he and his fleet are doing the best they can to interdict the Citadel. So you guys can see the Citadel here. And you can see the Allied fleet over here. Okay. As the camera spins around and shows various scenes of battle and destruction, we're going to have it come in close and sail behind the Perfect Stranger as it cruises through space. The camera clips through the hull and pans around Holmes as he watches a decoded message in the Intel Center. He hears Agent Jones saying they are after something on your ship. The camera pans away before you can hear the rest of the conversation. You can faintly hear the continuation of the sentence say something to the effect of, something your crew or the previous crew encountered. The camera will zip back to the exterior of the ship and show a massive dreadnought, the Citadel, blasting away ships in the belt using several powerful particle beams. They flash, and there's an orange glow behind where wrecked ships have been cut in half. Larger ships, the beams are sustained and they cut through like a hot knife through butter, eventually drilling from one end of the ship to another. The wreckage of the ships in the wake of the dreadnought are cast aside as it charges towards the station, Freeport San Ronald, knowing that the Perfect Stranger has been there. Several pods are launched from the dreadnought and land on the hull of the station. And as this free-floating camera moves to the interior of the station following these pods that pierce the hull of the Freeport, you can see, if you remember from the tutorial, and some of you were only there for one session, cybernetically modified enemies known as Charmucks. Now, in their non-cybernetically modified state, these were incredibly powerful opponents that nearly killed the training parties on a couple of occasions. There are swarms of these things, along with cybernetically enhanced husks. You all know what the husks look like, but I'll see if I can dig one up for you for narrative storytelling purposes. Alright. These Charmax cybernetically enhance the razor-sharp teeth and acid spit ripping through the station, killing everyone in sight. As this camera pans through, you can hear Bob's voice almost as though over your neural comms. Say, interesting. Synthetic Unity seems to have co-opted the Scourge for its own purposes. The camera speeds back and returns to the perfect stranger and settles on the bridge. Luca and Ray are working to get every scrap of speed out of the ship. As they look up from their consoles in shock as an orange light washes over them. The camera moves to outside the bridge as the emergency door slams shut and a particle beam destroys the bridge and everyone in it. Holmes is still in the Intel Center. The emergency red lights activate, a shutter moves through the ships, and the grav plates flicker. Bob's voice comes over his neural comm. The ship has suffered a catastrophic damage. The crew needs to abandon ship immediately. Another explosion rocks the ship, and the camera pans back to Aiden and Frank running down the main corridor, the bridge doors glowing cherry red behind them as they sprint towards the back of the ship. The bridge door explodes into the main corridor, and Frank and Aiden are sucked out into space in an explosive decompression. The camera pans down to a shot of Holmes and Junkrat frantically climbing the ladder from engineering to the cryo room. As they enter the cryo room, Homer and Annika are sealing themselves into 2 escape pods that have replaced a row of cryo berths in the last refit. Another explosion rocks the ship, and the cryo room is exposed to vacuum. Shrapnel pieces pierce through Junkrat's suit, and goblets of green blood expel from the holes. Holmes is smashed up against the bulkhead as the ship is breaking up around him, and he has just enough strength to reach up and grasp the launch override for the escape pods and launches Homer and Annika's escape pods away from the ship. Holmes' vision fades to black, and as that happens, he can hear Bob's voice say, "It's the only way. Initiate resurrection protocols." Now, we're going to go in a turn order for what's going to happen next. I'm going to give a little bit of narrative control back to your characters, because that's the end of the on-rails part. But you have to go in a certain order, because it would make sense that it would be the first person in the party that would have this happen to. It would be Luca. So, Luca, we're going to start with you. You hear in your voice, or in your head, a sound that, to us, metagame sounds like a 56K modem connecting to the internet. It is piercing and deafening, and there's a blinding white light. And then as this blinding white light washes over you, you realize that you are under some sort of liquid and you cannot breathe. And then you feel the sensation of falling as the floor of wherever you are, if there is such a thing, seems to slip out from underneath you, and you fall out onto the deck of a strange room. You look to your right and left. You're naked, and you're in a dark black room. Around you to your left and your right, other pods open and start expelling your teammates in the same fashion that you were expelled in. As you gather your senses to yourself, you have roughly 6 to 10 seconds of action. What do you do?
I look for a pair of clothes.
Okay. You feel around you, and there is going to be a gray-white jumpsuit that seems to form fit if you try to put it on. There's also a towel.
Where am I? And I kind of look around.
As you say that, Frank and Aiden, you two will experience the same thing Luca just experienced, having hit the floor just a few seconds after Luca.
Is it cold in here?
It's very cold in there. It's dark and it's cold, and you're covered in liquid that is not quite water, not quite snot.
No, this is just nasty. What is this stuff?
It's the last thing I remember dying. It's so cold in space. It's just fucking cold here.
That would certainly be a reality for Frank. You do, in fact, all of you, in fact, will remember right up to the moment that you died. Which for Luca and Frank and Aiden will have been more or less instantaneous. But as you say those things, Holmes, who asphyxiated inside of the cryo room before hitting the pods, will have a much more vivid recollection of his death. Holmes?
Bob, where are you, Bob?
No one answers.
I don't know what to do. I don't have Bob. I'm gonna look around and kind of like orient myself and make sure that everybody that is okay, and look for anybody else.
Okay,
Let
well,
me give you a hand up.
as you and the rest of the crew are in the room, 2 more of the tubes dump people into the room. One you will recognize as Cathay, although in her completely nude form you realize she's very much human, or as close to it as could possibly be. Perhaps flesh and blood even from the appearance. And a small child, no more than 12 years old, on the other side. Both Kathy and the child seem to be having much more difficulty comprehending their current state. They're looking in fascination at their hands, they're moving limbs, things that you instinctually got up and did, like being able to stand upright, they seem to be having difficulty with.
Can I go help this child?
You can. Especially
would
since
do
you
so.
woke up right next to him, so you'd be the closest person.
Yeah, yeah.
So as you walk over to the child seems to be toweling himself off, but he's not coordinated. His movements are clunky, and his face and skull have a weird pattern. And when you look really closely at the pattern, it has a pattern that looks one way when you look at it from far away, but when you get really close to it, you notice that it looks like the electronic drawing of a circuit board. And that's what's making up the lines that make the bigger picture on his face and head.
Hello, can you talk? You alright?
Hello? Did it work? Am I alive?
What? Did what work? What are you talking about?
The resurrection. The ancient technology. The child looks in bewilderment around, up at the pods. As he looks, he doesn't seem to be able to control his head separately from his center of gravity, and he falls on his butt.
Hold on there. I'm gonna help him back up. Hold that thought. We should go see if we could get everybody else together. And you're gonna have to explain what resurrection protocol thing you're talking about.
Bob, is that you?
Bob. Yes. Yes, you called me Bob. That's what you called me, Bob. That's who I was.
Yes.
So
Right.
you're
I'm gonna
Bob?
help.
Whoa.
Do we have? There's something like. Can we help Dr. Cathay get not naked?
So,
And get everybody together here.
yeah, Kathy, a little bit more coherent than the child, but still wobbling significantly. Still having significant trouble utilizing her now, what you're going to assume, because we'll say she scraped her knee and she's bleeding. Not something the other Cathay would have been able to do. And she's, taking the towel and she's holding it to her wound and she's slipping on some clothes, but she's not completely coherent yet.
Okay, I think so. Right before I died, I guess died. Yeah. I think that's what happened. Bob, he said that it's the only way in executing resurrection protocols. So looking around, I help me out, Bob, here, but I think you did a thing where, or somehow, like, executed some sort of command that brought us all back. And Dr. Cathay and you are now in flesh and bones bodies. And we know Dr. Cathay was at once human. Were you once human, Bob?
No. No, I'm not even sure I am now. Although I do feel like I am organic. I feel pain. I have never
Welcome.
felt pain before.
Welcome to the living.
I can remember some things, but there's so much information in my mind. He pauses for a moment. He's like, I suspect that if I try to hold on to all of these memories, this organic body won't be able to survive. But I will try to remember enough to tell you what you need to know.
Where are we?
You are on board the Citadel of Unity.
Oh, shit.
Before the Duchess settled on immortality through the Unity, she was looking for a way to defeat the one thing she couldn't defeat otherwise: death. She found these ancient resurrection chambers from a bygone era. They are products of the ancients. Each one can, for a single entity, revive and replace an organic person, if you know how to implant a consciousness on the body. Something the Duchess never could figure out, but something that Cathay knew how to do. By studying the Doctor's methods, I had that knowledge. So when the Dreadnought attacked and I began our standard cyber warfare attacks against it, I worked into various subsystems that were deemed non-essential on board the Citadel. One of those non-essential systems were the lab computers in this lab, this defunct, shut-down lab. Because I could get in here, I had access to these pods. I had access to Cathay's knowledge. When Luca died, I felt pain, and I wanted to fix it. As everything happened around me and I couldn't stop it, I knew that this was the only option for all of us. All of us who had a neural comm, that is. I was able to use the neural jacks and neural comms in your biological bodies to make a scan of your consciousness and imprint them on these replica bodies. I don't know from a philosophical perspective if you will consider yourselves to be the people you actually were before, but you do have all of their memories and personality and physical traits. You do not have any of the implants or technology that they would have had, because these vats are specifically designed to build biological bodies.
Lucas saunters over and pats him on the back and says, I would have missed you too, Bob.
Bob smiles. Very childish, happy smile. Cathay kneels down and for the first time starts speaking, and it says, Bob, does it hurt to access these memories? And Bob looks back at Cathay and says, yes, there is a significant amount of pain. And she looks up at the party and she's like, holding on to all this is probably going to kill him. If you have any questions you need to ask, you should ask now.
Do you have access to any of the security schematics, personnel records, etc., on this ship?
I am no longer of an electronic nature. I cannot simply pull up schematics. I did write several bits of information that were necessary to data wafers somewhere in this room. I was in a hurry, so I didn't pay particularly close attention to what I was writing to at the time. But I did, and he stops and holds his head like he's got a terrible migraine. He's like, I wrote something or some things that were important to these wafers, and you should find them, they're important.
Luca, computer things.
I'm on it. Ask about how we can stop the Duchess. Is a lot of bullets.
And we... Can we... Doctor, can we... Is there something in here with the computer that we can use to, like, download his memories or to relieve the pressure of his memories or whatever that kind of thing would be to get him out of his head and still retain them?
There is no way to retain them with the equipment that we have on hand, and we would not have the time even if we had the equipment to do it. You have perhaps 30 more seconds before he's either going to let go or he's going to die.
Roger, thank you. Bob, how old is this ship?
I do not know. That was not included in the information in the lab.
I don't think I have any more questions for you at the moment, Bob. Please, don't die.
I would very much like not to. And with that, Cathay has found a small medical kit amongst the lab equipment in the room. Now of which you can see that there are some tables and terminals. Everything's covered with sheets and all the lights are still completely out. The only computer terminal that is on is the one that Luca has walked up to. But the small medical kit includes a sedative, and Cathay gives it to Bob, who falls asleep. And she looks up at you guys and says, I'll stay with him. And if I can help, I will. But I need to take care of Bob.
Concur. Frank, Aiden, let's find some weapons and armor. And
I'm going to pull a sheet off of one of the tables and make it into a toga.
Okay. On top of the sweats that you were provided, or in lieu of the sweats you were provided?
Oh, on top of.
Okay. It's very, very Greek. I like it.
What was underneath the sheet when I pulled it off? Just medical stuff?
So there is lab equipment in here. There's lots of scanners. There's medical stuff. It's a lab studying the concept of these resurrection chambers. So you're going to find a bunch of science equipment in here. Best weapon you could probably find would be a scalpel or a sharp object.
do we have visibility of any exits to this?
There's a
room.
single locked door on the other side of the room. And I'm just assuming that you guys are taking the time to explore because it's so pitch black that from where you guys are standing, you would have to like feel your way along the walls to find
Yes.
it.
So in addition to the sweatsuits that we have, or I assume we can find shoes and things like that.
We'll say there's a pair of like hospital slippers or something in there, but it's not meant for you to be like combat ready. You're basically in you're in a medical facility and you would have just come out of surgery, so it's not designed for you to have those kind of things.
No, I get it. We're one level better than the reverse, half naked shroud thing.
Mm-hmm.
The grippy socks.
Yes.
I'd like to
Grippy
start
socks.
kind of looking around and see if I can see anything with additional, clothing or, again, I'm looking for weapons, something to defend ourselves. It's something to get an idea of where we are.
You're not going to get any different results than the results I've already given.
All right, so I'm standing at this console. Is it on?
It is on. It's the only terminal in the room that is on.
Does it have like a login screen, or is it already logged in?
It has a login screen.
Is there a keyboard? Is the keyboard in English?
The keyboard is in Galactic Alliance Basic. It is also a model that you recognize. This is not a foreign technology.
This is just like a regular keyboard. Awesome. Yep. But I don't have my laptop. I don't have any of my other things. I just have to guess username and password if I'm going to try to bypass it.
Unfortunately, you jumped to a conclusion, so I can't answer your query.
Excellent. Is
there dust on the keyboard?
yes, there would be dust on the keyboard. This facility has been disused. Looking at it, this facility has been disused for years. And considering the size of the Citadel as a small city, it's not impossible to have a section of the ship like this simply shut down when it wasn't being used.
All right, guys, before I try to figure something out here, do you want to gather around and talk about what just happened? Because I was flying a ship. There's an orange light. Things got extremely hot, and then I wasn't there anymore. And then I fell out of a tube, and Bob said he resurrected us. And we're on the Citadel. Like, clearly we have to kill the Duchess, because that's the bad guy. But, oh my goodness. Oh, I'm gonna throw up. Maybe.
I'm gonna give you a big hug there, buddy. I'm feeling weird because I'm a clone, and it's not something that I thought I'd ever be. I don't even know if I'm married anymore.
I think from a philosophical thing, it doesn't really matter because the quote real us all got evaporated or asphyxiated in space and blown to pieces. So I guess that makes us the only one of us, clone or not. So we are who we are. We're also in bad guy ship. That's still going through and murdering and slaughtering and killing everything, and they probably don't know that what they're looking for is on board their ship. So sitting around and lamenting that we're clones and whatnot is probably not going to help us that much. Just my opinion.
No, what I'm trying to say is that this extra time, because we've died, this extra time is a gift from Bob, and we should, cherish it and do whatever we can.
I assume that we are in agreement that what we can do is stop this ship.
The city-sized ship? You mean what? Stop it.
Blow it up, stop it, or escape it, and then what?
Get back to our lives.
That just got obliterated. That's how we ended up here in the first place.
Don't we still have a mission? I mean, I still want to see Gaston again. I got a little boy. I think. God damn it! I don't know.
Do you think the little boy in the little thing is going to survive this giant, massive assault dreadnought fleet thingy?
Well, we got to stop it, of course. But I mean, after that, I like to look ahead. Maybe we can get out of this.
Blow up the ship. Get on an escape pod. Meet your kid again.
Sounds like a plan to me.
I agree. One step at a time.
All right. So starts with this keyboard here.
You got to get through a keyboard. Look for some data wafers. He said there were data wafers, and he was writing to them. So there might just be like a data wafer plugged in somewhere.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna look for a light switch.
Do we want to turn lights on, or you want to try to like fashion something? I don't know. It's a huge city. There's not going to recognize that power is turned on to one very specific room.
Not just for turning on lights, but right now we're in the pitch black, and we know that the data wafers are in this room somewhere.
I agree. We need to turn the lights on. I don't think they're going to notice it at all. I mean, this place already had power for the resurrection tubes that we popped out of. So, I mean, there's got to be power in the room. So there's got to be more lights that we can switch on.
All right, you guys look for switches. I'll look for a wafer somewhere.
I'm getting into this console. Thinking about it, like I've used this console before, so I know the shortcuts to pop it up and to open it into admin mode, right?
Give me a computer's roll. Give me perception rolls for those of you looking for the light switch.
Got a 11.
It's an outdated operating system. Its vulnerabilities are very well known. You do gain access to the system. It was in the process of writing 4 data wafers on an array that's right here on the console.
Guys, I found the data wafers.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, they're right there.
Sweet. I got a 9 for my perception.
You find the light switch.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
able
gonna
to
turn it on.
You're able to thumb the lights on.
Sweet.
I opened the first data wafer.
Okay. The data wafers are all copies of themselves. They appear to have been intended to be issued out to each member of the party in the event that only one of you made it. The data wafers have several indexes on board, but there are there's 2 critical indexes that are listed as high priority. The first one is labeled Interference Protocol. And if you click on it, which I imagine you would, you find out that it contains enough of the research and compiled bits and bobs from what you guys discovered about the Charmax, from what Kathy knew, and from what was done in this lab, to put together a program that would permanently disrupt the cybernetic enhancements from the Charmax they're enhancing. It would turn them feral and loose the control of this ship from being able to control them. The second critical directory says self-destruct protocols, Citadel of Unity.
Hey, Captain, I think this one's for you.
All the wafers are the same.
Yeah, but it's got the self-destruct button.
All
I bet you
the
this
wafers
one,
are the same.
Bet you this
All
one
the
did-
wafers have the self-destruct. All the wafers have the interference.
I'll take one.
And we're all gonna
Here,
take
same
one.
here.
All right. So no matter what, we're gonna blow this fucker sky high.
You think we gotta put this data wafer into a Charmax to get it disrupted, or just a room?
That's a good question.
You guys gonna
The next Charmax we see, you should try to stick it up. It's we'll find a spot for it.
You guys are gonna examine the data cards, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. So perhaps you should spend some knowledge rolls and such trying to figure out the answers to those questions you just raised.
Like how we use these things.
Yes.
Is that just a raw intelligence guess?
It can be intelligence or a related skill. So if you're trying to trigger the self-destruct on the ship, I would take a starship engineering skill.
How about a demolitions?
Demolitions would be acceptable. If you're trying to figure out how to disrupt a Charmax's remote communication, basically its slave chip that keeps it under control by these baddies, then that sounds like it's communications or computers to me.
I'm gonna go electronics comms. Oh, I'm gonna roll a 4. Got a 1 and a 2 for a 7. I can't figure it out. I'm gonna try to stick it up its butt. Good call, Frank.
Told you.
I also got a 4 for my explosives roll.
Okay. So the only thing you two are going to be able to determine is that self-destructing the ship is going to be a lot more difficult than just putting a code in somewhere. And the Charmax are going to be... Why is there an open person in this?
What the hell?
This isn't supposed to be an open server.
Bye-bye.
Interesting.
We are so cool. People want to join us all the time.
I was the kid.
Yeah, that's your child. Alright. So, you guys didn't really figure out too much. You're still in this laboratory space.
Luca, can you see if you have any access to ship schematics or yeah, map?
You find a map.
Find a
Is
map.
that door over there, is that locked?
The door is currently sealed.
Hanging out by the door.
There's a red light over the button that would normally open or close it.
Does the door have a window or anything we can peek out of?
Nope. It's a bulkhead door. It's meant to be airtight in the event of decompression.
These terminals that we can see now with the lights on.
The terminals
Do
would have
they-
come on as well.
Okay. So what do they seem to do? What is their function?
Each of them seems to focus on a different aspect of the resurrection chambers. Some are about biology, some are about electronics, some are about physical mechanisms, but they're all tied into researching these ancient resurrection chambers. The first thing you'll notice without a roll is that all the resurrection chambers have now been expended. They only had a certain number of them and they're single use only, and Bob used them all to bring you back.
Well, that's gonna make. Yeah, that's funny.
Dr. Kathy, will any of this help you in taking care of Bob?
Possibly. I believe that while he's sleeping, his hippocampus will help him sort out the memories. He'll lose most of the knowledge he had. But I think that he may be okay when he wakes up, but he will just be a child.
Sweet.
Chief.
That's assuming, of course, that we live. It sounds like the ship is, best case scenario, filled with a bunch of enemies that we intend to explode. Worst case scenario, we don't actually explode the ship. The deck rumbles beneath your feet as another battery of particle beams fire.
Sounds like the guns are below us.
For the engine room. All right, let me get see if I can find a way to open the door and find some schematics. I crack my fingers and I buckle down.
Okay.
Might help him.
Sure. Lucas Terminal seems to be the only ones connected to the outside world. There are instruments attached to, so like the mechanical station from these side stations that are meant to study the resurrection tubes, they will have materials and stuff on them. There's no obvious weapons. But that doesn't mean there isn't anything useful. But Lucas Terminal seems to be the only one that's connected to the wider ship.
Is there like a comm line around?
Not per se, but there are several scanning instruments that could be repurposed.
Oh, can I make another cryo gun? Oh no, keep me focused, Frank. What am I doing? I'm looking for
Yeah, we
schematic
gotta-
and a door.
Control Alt, maybe some F4 up in there.
That's an 11 plus 3 is a 14.
Okay. The ship is so big that it is incapable of displaying the entire schematic to you at one time. And different levels of access give you different levels of granularity on what you can see. So like an electrical engineer that's supposed to be, keeping the power systems up and running can't necessarily go look at how many fighters are in the bay. And a fighter deck officer can't necessarily go look at where the wires are being run throughout the ship. You've logged into a terminal of a scientist doing research, so you can see floor plans and stuff that would be relevant to the doctor, but nothing beyond that. But you can see the ship, which I left on the other map. Yay me! I'm good at my job. Hold on a second. Let Let me just go get that because I want it. Oh wait, no. Did I just fuck up? No, I didn't. I don't think.
There's a Citadel model over here.
That's what I needed. Where is it? Oh, that's where I moved it to. Okay, let me unpack all that. Good job, Kizik. Alright, so you get a overlay of the ship. It's a very interesting looking ship. It's of Galactic Alliance design, although it is massive. Probably took 50 to 100 years to build the damn thing, and the entire wealth of a Duchess's weight went into building this thing. It is opulence. And while it obviously has now very advanced weaponry that seem to be beyond even what the Duchess would have had access to, it was originally designed to be a palace that flies.
Is there like a bunch of little tablets in the room, or can I make some tablets so that we can carry this with us?
So, once again, I stated up front, and I'll reiterate, the ship is so big. Like, you can have a tablet. It will have some of what you want on it. It's weight, even just as a basic floor plan, it's too big for a tablet. It's a small city.
I got it. But from where we are now, I could find that and put that on a little tablet. Give us our next couple of minutes.
Yeah,
Do
sure.
we know where we are now, like on the ship?
You can pinpoint that you are... I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. Oh, maybe if I take this image and lay it flat, it'll be easier for me to do something with. So let's make this a tile. Yes. Okay, now I can lock this and I should be able to put little pings on it. Alright, orange is a good color. Let's use orange. You know that you're there. You are there about midway through the hull, many, many decks up above and below you.
Okay. Just looking at our giant city-sized thing, if I were to say I was going to look for the engine room, I would assume, without seeing the back of this thing, that it's probably somewhere back here. And these are just assumptions. And if I were looking for the bridge, it's either going to be up here at the top or up here at the front. And maybe secondary here on the middle deck thing is what I would guess. From a structural perspective of this thing, your weakest point is probably going to be right in the middle here, where the big saucer-looking bottom and the superstructure tower goes together. So if we want to blow this thing up, we have a couple of options to us. Like, we can self-destruct it using protocols that already exist, or we can do some sort of explosive thingy, overpower the engines. This thing has big guns. Like, we can blow up one of the guns and have it shoot itself. Lots of different ways that we could cripple this thing so that the Alliance Navy could do their thing. No idea. I assume something this size would have multiple different sets of escape pods. I would also assume that the communications array is somewhere up here with the antenna thingy, because that would make somewhat of sense. I don't know what these little wingy potty thingies are for. Something we could find out. Again, these are just random thoughts by me. Looking at what little we know about this thing. We don't have time to go everywhere. And any sort of group housing, it would be different than normal because it's all weird cyber spider things and husks. But those would need power from somewhere. because they're cybernetic. Just some things to think about and to look into as we go on. I rambled a lot. Sorry.
I think it's good thoughts. I think you might want to think about how to get some of that information you don't have.
Oh yes.
Maybe your crew can help.
Yeah, I'm on the science, part of the network. I did pretty well. I know a lot about it, but I just get a huge schematic. Can I open that door?
Yes, you would be able to find the door controls. So basically, right now, when you look at the sensors for the room does have power, and you are able to turn on the lights. But the room is considered to be an inactive and dormant state. If you open the door, the room will become active. Part of becoming active will mean the sensor grid cutting on. You rolled an 11, so I gave you a little bit extra.
Yeah.
The sensor grid, as in it will commence scanning inside the room or anything, or the sensor grid will be active and we can use the sensor grid.
Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
See some stuff, but they'll know we're here.
So you want to maybe wait until the end for that?
If ever we leave Kathy and the child here.
So
Yeah.
Pop a
there's-
lock on a door.
Shit, let's go through the vents.
Or we can look around. There's, like you said, there's stuff that we potentially can put together, some sort of cutting tool, or some local, like it's a city-sized thing, a small explosive charge to blow a hole in the door. Wouldn't turn anything on, but would, like, if there's anything around us, it would hear it, unless we cut through it.
I might be able to make some a cutting torch. There's oxygen tanks around here.
I've got this cool rig light. Oh, no, I don't. Shit.
I no longer have my advanced, intelligent, super lightsaber sword thing. But anyway, other things, Luca, I recognize you can't see like wiring diagrams or anything like that. Can you look, because it's a research access, can you look for like power consumption? Like where on the ship like consumes the most power? Is that something you can take a look for?
I mean, I'll give it a shot.
How brute force do you want your approach to be? Realizing that brute force will give you access to a lot of things you may not otherwise get access to, but also increases your chances of getting caught. On a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being fuck it, and 1 being very cautious.
Luca doesn't want to get caught. He's going to give it a 3.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll for computers.
Is Frank still helping me? Keeping me focused?
Yeah, man.
That's another 11 plus 3, 13.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Alright, so you're able to figure out that the main power plant... So earlier, when Holmes was like, this part right here seems like it would be the weakest part of the ship. It's also where the main power plant is. And the power plant is currently outputting, like they've shut down every part of this ship that isn't firing a weapon, raising the shields, which you now know exist, or moving the ship. Literally, they've cut off everything else to the exclusion of life support. And the reactor's still running at 157% capacity. Those particle beam weapons were never meant to be fired off what is in essence a yacht. And that this ship has the equivalent of, I believe it was 8 spinal mounts.
So we don't necessarily need to destroy the ship. If we can drop its shields, like if we can destroy its shield generators, then the Alliance Navy can do their thing while we get off the ship.
Maybe. I mean, there's options, right?
Yep. I think most of our options come from heading towards the power source, but recognize that that power source also will mean it's the only thing that's guarded on the ship. I won't say only thing that's guarded, but it will definitely be guarded. So,
We need to gear up.
yeah.
Being part of the science network, is there anything that they were working on that looks like weird weapons or advanced weapons?
Oh yeah. This thing had 2 full science wings, and several of those labs dabbled in ancient or artifacts of the ancients. Let me put that in distinction for you. I've explained it before, but let me just re-explain it. Ancient technology is like Cathay or Bob, like 1,000 years old. The ancients went extinct 300,000 years ago, but the ancients seeded most of the galaxy with life and were undoubtedly the most advanced. They have technology so advanced that its pure function boggles the mind. Like these resurrection chambers are from the ancients. And there is technology on board that is potentially from the ancients. There's also technology on board that is just ancient, like from Cathay and Bob's time.
Can I pull up one of those on the schematic so we get our first
It's not just going to tell you exactly what's in there. You can see the rooms. They're adjacent, like you're on the same wing as those rooms.
all right then.
Yeah, like whichever one's closest.
We still got to get through that locked door without anybody knowing. Also,
Is there
are
s-
those also in the dormant state?
Yes, most of the labs are, not all of them. Some of them are still active.
Is there a visible panel or control panel or anything like that for the bulkhead door from the inside?
Where the door normally has its open and close, the entire panel just glows red.
So that's it. Okay. We able to find any tools of some kind around here so that we can maybe see if we can find a disconnection between the sensor grid of the door. If we open it up, then not have to worry about the sensors.
Why don't you look
Damn
around
good
for some
idea. You
tools?
should, yeah, look around. I keep failing that.
Okay, so I'm going to look around for that.
Okay. If you're more specific, the check will be easier to make.
I would like to find tools to be able to work on the door to separate it triggering the sensors.
So you're looking for electronics tools to cut wires and solder boards and stuff like that.
Correct.
Okay. What's your roll? You're doing perception, which is recon plus int. Although I'll accept others if you can give me good arguments.
Nope, I've got a 9.
Okay. So you don't find the exact tool set because it wouldn't be in here, but you do find things you can use for those purposes. You find a pair of snips that will cut wires, you find a basic set of screwdrivers, and you find a blowtorch that can be used to melt solder and solder things in place.
A blowtorch or a solder gun?
It's not a soldering gun. It's an actual torch. You'll have to do it like you're doing copper pipe, not like you would do. So it's gonna be crude. It's not gonna be the right tool for the job.
Oh, just trying to figure out the complexity of the tool. That's all, of the torch. And
Yep. And it's a really
how big it is.
small torch too. It's like the size of a pen.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay, thank you. Hey guys, I found some rudimentary tools here just to kind of take a look at that door. I think I might run over and see if there's some way I can disconnect the door from the electronics of the sensors, if we can do that.
Nice. It's great. I couldn't find shit.
Can I look around the room for anything like chemical compounds, flammable materials that I could use explosives and craft into rudimentary grenades?
Okay, so you're looking to make grenades. Yeah, go ahead and look around.
Oh, hey guys, I also got a small like hand torch over here, like a pen torch. So it's be good for us to be able to maybe ignite anything if we need to.
I got an 11.
Okay. Some of the tools that they have just the right components in them. Roll 2d6. However many you come up with is however many small equivalent of frag grenades you can come up with.
7.
You got 7 makeshift grenades. They'll be treated as though they're frag grenades. Unless you want incendiary. I would accept incendiary if you'd rather have that.
Yes, incendiary sounds fun.
Okay.
I'd like to start working on this control panel at the door, just trying to see if I can pop the panel off without actually causing any damage to it, just to see what's underneath the red light of the panel.
Excellent. I will accept either mechanics or electronics computers as the check for that. Unless you have another suggestion.
Looking. No, I think that would be about it. See, rolled an 11, got zeros there in computer stuff, but education was a 1, so 12.
Awesome. So you're definitely going to get that panel off. You managed to bypass the security sensors for when you're moving the panel, and you find the circuitry that is going to alert the rest of the ship if the door is open. It is also the remote interface that you would use to use the console to open the door, so you're going to have to figure out a way to open the door too. But you can disable the fail-safes that will alert that the door has been opened.
Excellent. Hey guys, got some good news over here.
Roll a d6. It's going to take you that many minutes to do that. I'm going to take a quick bio. I'll be right back.
Roll a 3, so was that 3 minutes?
Yep.
Rules question for the group, as I've never used grenades before. What skills do you use to throw grenades?
I would think agility, right?
I think it
athletics,
is
dexterity.
athletics. Yeah, it's
Dexterity.
athletics.
I meant dexterity, not agility. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
Anybody want some grenades? I feel like me
Yeah, I'll
holding
take one.
7 of them, as we have no other weapons, like if I give everybody some grenades, like that could probably help us in the case that we need it.
Luke is going to try to affix a bunch of scalpels to a little bit bigger thing and make a bladed weapon.
I think I'm going to try and look around too before we pop this door. I want to see if I can find like a bar or anything like that I can sharpen into some type of a machete type thing.
Just a giant wrench.
There you go. Hey, I could do a wrench.
All of those are good ideas.
Definitely think we can take the cyber spider down with what we've got here.
Does everybody got something to defend themselves?
I do not.
You
Get a
can have
bed sheet wrapped
grenades.
around yourself.
I have a grenade and a bed sheet. Yeah.
I mean, what more do you need than a toga and a grenade? I mean,
Well, you just put the sheet over your head and just go, ooh.
Oh yeah, I'm a ghost.
Tried to
Yeah.
scare at Charmax.
We should
I'm gonna
try to
give.
find some Tom or something out there somewhere.
Where can I guess when he gets back, like, can we look for other terminals that we might be able to get into to get more information of engineering things or weapons or because we're
Yeah,
on a
we should
science term. Like,
probably
can you,
leave this room and go find something.
Yeah, it'd be really nice if we could find like an armory of some kind on the ship, but I don't know if we have that
well,
type of clearance to do that.
but we do know where ancient technology that was researching weapons and stuff are. Like, I say we head there first and
Oh, yes,
see what we
definitely.
come up with.
Kizza, can you do a quick sound check to see if we've got any interference coming in? I've got this weird bounce on the sound bar. The rest of you can keep talking if you want. That'll give them something
Oh.
to listen to.
Yay! Okay, we discussed while you were gone. I'm gonna pass out the grenades to everybody. So, like, yeah, I'll have 2. I'll give 2 to the doctor so she can defend herself, and then 1 to each of the rest of the party.
If you try
And
to
I
give
was
two,
looking around.
if you try to give 2 to Cathay, she'll probably give you 1 back and be like, let's just be honest, if I need 1, I'm only going to need 1.
Okay.
I was looking around for some type of a bar or some type of sheet metal or something that I could forge into some type of a machete of some kind.
I mean, well, there's not going to be things that you can properly forge with, and it's not a metal shop. I'll let you find a piece of metal that you can use in the same manner in which you would use a machete. However, it's not going to count as a machete. It's going to count as an improvised weapon.
Okay, some type of a stabbing thing.
There's going to be a scalpel laying around. I already said you guys could find that.
Yeah, I think we had that.
Yeah, it's
You can have it.
It's not an armory.
We should go find an armory.
No, I figured we find some debris around here they could use for, a club or something.
You can do that. That's what I meant by you can use improvised weapon. So improvised weapon, a club, they all have the same exact statistics as far as combat is concerned. They're a bludgeoning weapon. They do 2d6 damage. They're not like that's what you could potentially find. But
No, that's
that's
good
not
enough.
that's I mean, if it makes you feel better.
That's just better than spitting on people.
It sounds good to me. I'm not hearing anything.
Okay. So maybe it's just a soundbar. That's fine. Thank you.
So I break off a table leg just so I feel better. And what do you say, fellas? We gonna move on, try to find an armory now?
Whenever you guys are ready, I'll make the cut over here to disconnect sensors from the door opening. So, but let me know when you're ready.
Disconnecting the sensors doesn't open the door, and you already disconnected the sensors.
Oh, okay. That was the thing that took me 3 minutes to do.
Yes, that was the thing that you rolled in a good roll. I said you were doing it, and then I said it'll take this many minutes to do it.
Okay, so done.
Yeah, but the door's not open. That's just now you can open the door without triggering the alarm.
No, that's the part where we're waiting on Luca and the team to decide what they want to do and when we're going to do it.
Luca, can you look in the computer while the rest of us look around the room to see if there's any sort of communications equipment? So, like, if you can see like how they communicate on the ship in the computer, or if there's any like on the wall, like like through the ship speaker system, something that we may be able to dismantle and create some shortwave communication kind of thing to like we don't just ditch Bob and Dark Kathy.
You want to see if they got speakers in here, and have me have the ability to talk to them, make sure they're all right.
Yeah, something along those lines. That would work.
So to be clear, are you looking to do an intercom, or are you looking to like make radios?
Can we make access to like an intercom to just this room, or make radios?
That was my question. I can't give you a role, or
Fair.
I can't do the thing you need without you answering that question.
Let's go for radios.
All right, Kizik.
Yeah.
If you, knowing with the stuff you had around you, you know, medical equipment, scanners, tablets, you know, various different pieces of mechanical apparatuses, how would you go about making a two-way communication device that works like a radio?
I need something that emits radio waves. It's something that can like understand those, which to me sounds like 2 scanners.
All right, that's a Kizikism that I didn't think you were going to do, but that's why I asked the question. Okay, so you're going to find scanners that can send and receive different radio frequencies. Let's say for the sake of argument you find those. Let's get a mechanics roll to turn 2 of them into two-way radios.
Mechanic roll 9.
So now
Aye.
Aiden's doing.
I rolled a 7. I have a 1 in mechanics and a 1 in education for a 9.
Okay. Alrighty. You're going to be able to turn some scanners into some crude radios.
These aren't like secured in any way, shape, or form, but this thing and that thing are speaking on the same language, and I'm pretty sure I can speak through it.
Yep. For a very short distance.
All right, let's give one of those to the doctor, and unless anybody's got objections, let's open that door and see if we can find, it's a big ship, so there potentially like some sort of signage or, you know, directions kind of thing of what's immediately around us.
Are we able to use those radios of any way to be able to listen to see if there's any active communications or anything like that going on in the ship right now?
Absolutely not. The way that he built them, you are not using any kind of standard frequency for either end.
Yep, copy. 2-way.
It's barely even two-way. However, the room is full of these things called tablets, with minor adjustments, could be easily talking to each other and anything else, just with like a firmware update or a configuration change.
We need a computer guy, Luca, for that.
You want me to just modify all these tablets sitting around, not build a set of one-way kind of really neat things? Oh man, tablets.
Well, we need to communicate, and I think it's good that we're able to see if there's any alerts going on in the ship or anything weird happening. Or if there's any type of communication, like anything for crew members or anything like that that might be on the ship, to see what they're doing.
I root a tablet and I hand it to Holmes and go, sounds like a sensors thing for somebody to do, huh?
It does. Aiden, I think we got a job for you.
All right, I'm game. So I'll grab a tablet and start doing that stuff I just said.
Okay. It's actually electronics computers, but I appreciate the effort put in by the party.
So since it's not sensors, electronics computers.
You hand it back to me? Okay. Give me a second.
Like, thank you. That sure is a pretty tablet. Thank you.
I mean, it does all the things.
Now you should explain, unless you want me to just as the GM make assumptions, how you're doing this.
I am not actively scanning. I am just like listening and looking for spikes in frequencies.
You guys have jumped straight to, I want to hack the network, and I'm still trying to answer the question of how do you guys talk to each other.
Oh, over the tablets?
Yes.
I'm going to set up a Wi-Fi network in the tablets. No, I don't have a thing that can they emit their own Wi-Fi? Everything's just like Bluetooth into each other.
Yeah, they can send and receive to each other. But what I really wanted to hear is what you just said, which is I'm going to create my own network and not try to hijack the ship's network. But if you really want to go try to hijack the ship's network, then you can go ahead and do that once you've established communications.
Since we're using that over tablets, I assume it's going to be like kind of an instant message type thing, or is it going to be actual audio?
I'll allow either.
Like I'm sure there might be a valid reason for us to not hear audio and we're trying to maybe be stealthy.
I mean, I imagine it's got the equivalent of Discord on each of these tablets. So,
I'm posted up on the door with my table leg.
you're going to get awful, like, you're going to get cramps sitting there waiting for these guys to figure all this out.
Yep.
So that you're setting up your Wi-Fi network, you rolled your computer's check, go ahead and roll a d6 to see how many tens of minutes it takes you to configure these tablets.
30.
In the meantime, the ship's going through and just murdering the shit out of everybody in the Serendip Belt.
Oh, we're terrible spies.
You're not really acting as spies right now. Also, you're not terrible spies. You are the best of the best.
We came up against the doom, the door.
All right, guys. Password is flowers, and that's with an F and a exclamation point at the end. Everybody's joined, and I've got my little scalpel. Don't lose your phone, Aiden. And let's get out of here.
Phone? You mean my tablet?
Now it's a phone. Back to Dr. Cathay.
You guys can still use a short-range radio solution you came up with to communicate with Cathay if you want.
I'll say I think I lost my phone when my original body got jettisoned into space. So each of us have a tablet, is what I'm gathering.
Yes.
Yep.
Copy.
All right, let's do this.
I pop the door.
Charmex swarm in, everybody dies. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice. I swing.
I put a data stick in its butt.
There you go. That's a dex.
Is it, though?
That's a social persuade.
Right.
Oh, it's cruise.
Pretty sure putting things in things' butts is probably a cruise. That seems much more likely.
Bludgeon.
It could be persuade.
Okay. So from here on out, we're outside the maps I had made. I realized that wasn't a ton of a map, but like I said, up on travel. So we're going to be doing a lot of theater of the mind here. So let's put this ship up here so you guys can see where and about you're going and where you are. Put this up here. You know what this looks like. You know what these guys look like. Alright, you guys go into a dark hallway. It's not as dark as the room was. There's like lights and stuff on, but it's a disused hallway. At the very end of the hallway, you can see lights, and there's a few offices and labs at the end of the hallway that look like that they might still be active. And then there's a bunch of shuttered doors that say Lab 1, Lab 2, Lab 3, etc., etc., etc. You're all the way down in Lab 13.
Do we hear any voices or people talking or anything like that? Or
That sounds like something you should make a roll for.
okay, rolling. Got an 8.
Okay. You hear indistinct sounds. Could be a person. Could be just chattering of machinery, whirring away doing its job.
Am I able to discern how far away it is?
No.
Yeah.
Now, did we write down which lab was the Ancients Technology Lab?
There is no one answer to that. You also, I specifically said, couldn't tell what was in each lab. You see a list of projects, but like each of the labs are self-contained for kind of this reason. So like they won't know any more about what you're doing in your lab than you'll know about what's going on in theirs.
So pick the closest one.
I don't know that we have time to go room by room.
I don't think so either.
Oh, we definitely don't.
All right, let's pick one at random
Yeah,
using
Luca
the
loves
dice.
Lucky 7.
7. Let's go to 7.
Okay. I'm gonna need to borrow some dice because I don't have my physical dice. Okay. You open room 7. How do you open the door? Because it's going to be security locked. You're just going to pry it open like you did the last one?
Any window or anything like that, or is it a bulkhead door like the other
You're
one?
never going to find a window like that in a starship like this. That's a structural weakness that would cause an explosive decompression.
Okay, copy that. Yeah, just well, we're just check and see if it's actually unlocked.
It's not unlocked.
Yeah, so same kind of thing before. I'm gonna assume there's a button or a panel that has red on it, and we're gonna try and pop that panel off and do the same thing I did on the previous door.
Okay.
And got a 6.
Okay.
Luca would have helped.
You fail to disconnect this thing. Luca, you want to try to save him?
I'm gonna give him a boost dice.
Yeah, same, no difference.
Alright, I'll give you a choice. You see that it's going to breach. No matter what, the alarm is going to go off. You can either stop the thing you're doing right now and try to put the panel back on very quickly, vacate the premise and hope nobody notices what you did. The alarm's still going to go off. Or you can get the door open and the alarm will still go off.
So what I'm hearing is no matter what I choose to do, the alarm is going off.
Yes, you have cut the wrong wire.
Son of a gun. All right, so hey guys, cut the wrong wire. The alarm's going to go off. I say we just go
The
in
alarm
here
just
real
goes
quick.
off.
Put the
All right,
panel
so
on.
we're in.
I asked for you to make a snap decision, not discuss it with the group.
Copy that. Well, I'm definitely going in.
Okay. The alarm's currently going off. He cuts the cord. The door opens. You guys walk inside the vault. And inside of here, there are a number of tables. And in the back of the room, there are a number of targets. The tables each seem to have a smooth... It looks like a donut with one side cut it off, except it's made out of plastic. And it's got like a little circular lens sticking out of one side and what looks suspiciously like a thumb trigger on the other end.
How many tables?
6.
And they all have this little cuff thing. I'll good. Get one.
Okay.
Yep, same.
You hold it in your hand, kind of like you would a plasma pistol from Halo. I think most, if not all, of you should get that reference.
Mm-hmm.
It's much smaller, but that's how you hold it.
If I aim it at the target down the way, can I pull the trigger?
Sure.
Thumb trigger.
A laser beam shoots out from the side, from the tiny little aperture. It's a very small laser beam, but it burrows straight through the target and impacts the back wall. You look at the little hand laser in your hand, and a brief holographic representation of a circle, pie shape, if you will, comes up on the side of the gun, and it denotes by 1/10 of its radius.
These might only have 10 shots, fellas, and I just pulled the trigger on mine, so 9 left.
Does it operate like a laser pointer, or is it actually shooting like a beam, like a kind of like a bullet?
It's more like a bullet.
Copy.
Well, I feel better.
Do we want to hide, or do we want to see what comes through that door?
Let's get the fuck out of here. There's no other egresses.
I agree. Let's get out.
Well, we said there's 6 tables, so I'm gonna grab the little laser thingies from the other 2 and like
We could grab
dual wield little laser pistols.
Okay.
Nice.
You guys come into the hallway, the alarm's still going off, but there's no sign of any response yet.
Right or left? Let's go right.
Following the leader.
You guys start barreling down hallways, and it quickly becomes very apparent to you just how massive this structure is. It seems like you've been running forever, and you're still going down these just corridor after corridor after corridor in this part of the ship.
There's still doors.
Still doors.
I picked one at random. Left.
Okay.
We able to see on our tablets, like kind of like where we are in retrospect to the schematic, at least.
You are in the exact same orange dot that you were in over here.
Gotcha.
The doors seem to be, even the ones that are accessible for you to open, if you put your hand in front of it, it'll tell you you're not authorized to open it, and it'll trigger an alarm. Hallway is also, the illumination has increased significantly.
There's no time for popping another door, so we should try to find lifts or something. Get out of this place.
Some sort of transportation, yes.
Okay. You can give me a navigation, or you can give me a perception, or you can give me a starship engineering roll.
It's like a city. Can I streetwise us?
The streetwise is not. It is not navigating a city. Navigation is navigating a city.
Well, I got an 11. For my navigation.
Pretty solid navigation roll.
Can't hear you talking if you are talking.
Sorry, I was briefly interrupted. You said you rolled navigation?
Yes, I got an 11.
Excellent. You find a central corridor full of lifts. Some of them go up, some of them go down. Some of them you're right in the middle of. Where do you want to go?
Boys, we found the lifts. We need to go center, like towards the center of the ship, right?
Are they labeled by like are there labels on which ones go where? Is there like a subway map or anything like that like which lift goes where?
rimward, hubward?
So, yes and no. There's a lot of old stuff. Like, as you've been running through the quarters, one of the things you notice is there are parts of the ship that have been dramatically refitted. And the refits pay no mind to human occupation. But the ship was a palace at one point in time. So, it'll say things like ballroom, or banquet hall Theodora, or, bocce ball court. It'll,
Shuffleball.
yeah, it'll say things like that.
But it would still, like, even in a giant spaceship palace, it would still have something to say engine room or don't go here because it's not part of the palace. It's part of the maintenance portions of the ship.
So generally, if you're familiar with hotel and casino designs, you'll know that the customer-facing elevators don't go to those places. If they do, it requires a key and an override, and it's not a button you can normally get to.
Okay. Well, let's head towards the center of the ship then. I think that's where we intended on going, correct?
So you're at the
Yeah.
main corridor for this part of the ship. If you want to go towards the center of the ship, meaning towards the reactor, you don't want to get in a lift. The lifts go up and down between decks. You want to follow this deck along its main corridor back towards, they don't go front to back or side to side. They go up and down.
Okay.
Main corridors and trams, if you can find them, although looking at this map you will know they exist, go side to side or back and forth.
Tracking now.
To the tram.
They're like, yeah, to a tram. So we're gonna stay in this central corridor.
Okay.
Yes.
It's going to be like a 100-yard dash. You still haven't seen a single soul. I imagine this is like the scene out of Scooby-Doo, where you guys are running out of one door and the bad guys are running out of another, and then just does that scene where they go through random doors.
The hallway shuffle.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized the dog is dead.
Yeah, we were going to gloss over that. Also, Kizik's
And the cat.
girlfriend. The cat could definitely have insta-teleported into an escape pod.
And the poor Vargar that's still in the cold storage.
Nah, he got ejected too. He was in an escape pod.
No, fair.
His cold storage was his escape pod. Yeah, the Vargar's expendable, but cat totally not.
We saved Homer and Annika, though.
Yeah, that's important.
The dice saved Homer and Annika. I was completely willing to let it happen. It's a finale.
Hey, young love has to survive, all right?
Yeah, that's what Allie said too.
The rest of us are toast, though. Okay, yeah.
So you guys,
to the tram.
You guys get to the tram. There's one that's incoming, and there's another that's deactivated, but it's currently docked at the station.
I want to hide. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Not get seen by the incoming one.
Cool. All right, so imagine a tram lobby at a resort, and all the things that would be there. How do you guys hide?
Can we get in the deactivated one?
Yeah, there's a deactivated one.
You can get in the
Oh, man.
deactivated one. It's made out of glass. It's not going to do much to hide you, but you might be able to get it started, depending on how things go.
Okay,
Oh.
I was picturing like a train car thing. where it had little walls.
Remember, bougie hotel.
Bougie.
Everything's
Bougie
gold laced and like there's glass and everywhere, and it might be old and like, well, it's not really old. It's disused. It's not really even that old. This ship was brand new when it launched.
Their big water feature fountain.
Absolutely, it's probably not running, but it's there.
Something we could hide in.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And structural supports around the area, because I'm sure it's like a big open area.
Yep. Lots of columns, stuff like that. There's dead plants everywhere.
I'm gonna go into like a corner that's nice and dark and hide behind a column of things. Yes.
Okay. And Ghost is going to hide in the disused water fountain.
Column sounds good for me.
I'm going with Frank.
Okay. Ten of these husk things. And one thing that you guys haven't seen in a long time. Assuming I can find its card. Come on. There it goes. Nope, I still can't find its card. Where the hell did the big bad go? You're like, we don't need them. Oh, there we go. Found it. You belong in that one. So this big thing. I see someone put Aiden in the water feature. Is that where Aiden was supposed to be? I thought he said he was going to be behind a conduit.
I did.
Behind a column.
Started looking like it was some kind of a target. I got nervous there too.
Alright. Time to make some rolls. Okay. Ghost. You are the only one that doesn't get seen. These guys sweep over. They have thermal vision. The things that you guys try to hide behind, not really working, but Frank has decided to dive deep enough under the water that he isn't seen. The rest of you guys are seen, and the husks start sprinting out towards you guys. Who wants to take the first initiative?
Do we have crane on this side?
Yep.
These guys, fountain, columns, all the things.
Equivalent space on the other side with another tram that's deactivated. On the other side.
Deactivated tram here.
And then the corridor, the main corridor, goes in both directions. Think like a main city thoroughfare.
And they're thermal sighting everything. I will go first, because why not? Somebody's gonna go first. Might as well be me.
Okay.
And I am going to chunk an incendiary grenade right in front of them.
Okay. Go ahead.
And
Roll.
hope
Go ahead
to-
and just roll damage. And don't ask me how much damage an incendiary does, because I'm not at home and don't have any of my books.
I got a 6.
For damage? I didn't ask you to roll to hit. I asked you
Oh.
for damage. And then I said, don't ask me how much damage is, which was your cue to go find the Central Supply catalog and figure out how much Incendiary Grenade does.
Looking now. I know it's in here, but I'm not seeing it.
Okay, well, let's get the next player before we... while...
2D.
It's 2D, okay. So roll 2D for your damage.
Blast 3.
For Incendiary? It's not burn?
Yes. It's blast 3, comma, fire.
8.
That's in the most recent version of the Central Supply catalog?
2023.
Okay.
What page is it on?
157.
Thank you.
Okay, so you said blast 3?
Correct.
Okay. And you did how much damage?
8.
Okay. Well, you kill a bunch of them, and a shockwave rattles the platform. Who's going next?
Can Lucas see the big guy?
Yeah, everybody can see everybody.
Excellent. I'm gonna throw a grenade at him.
Remember, the big guy has to be hit in the back, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Been a
he
while.
could get heated up too with fire.
That's true.
You guys are earning bonus points for remembering that. That was a long time ago. Go ahead and throw your grenade and give me your damage.
Just damage. He's not prepared, or
Just damage.
do I have to throw it at him?
So like this first volley, you guys are it's very tight quarters.
I got 9 damage.
Excellent. You catch him on fire. He seems very disgruntled about it. He's now a flaming Hulk that is charging towards you. Who's next? Don't everybody jump at once.
Yeah, you need to go, Aiden. I'm hidden.
I don't know if I have. Did we each get a grenade? I don't remember getting one.
Yes, everybody got a grenade.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, all right. We're checking mine then. I throw it right over there.
Okay, give me your damage.
Five.
Okay. It's not quite enough to kill them, but you maim a bunch of them and catch them on fire.
Sweet.
What's Frank gonna do?
Shit. I guess I'm gonna pop up with my new laser pistol thingy. I'm gonna try to shoot this guy over here.
The ones that are already on fire. Okay. I guess
Yeah,
technically they're all on fire now.
That's good. Is that a gun combat energy weapon?
It sure is.
Okay.
And hold up, I'll tell you how much damage it does.
Let's see if I hit first.
It does 3d plus 3 damage.
All right, 9. I would assume hits.
A 9 does hit.
All right, and you said, I'm sorry, 3D what?
3d plus 3.
3D plus 3. 14?
Okay, well that one's dead.
But I have 8 shots left.
Alright, now we're going to go into initiatives. Remember, you can be fast of thought or fast of body.
Oh man, I forgot to say we should play Micro Heroes.
Oh.
You don't have micro heroes to play anymore, and the arena's been destroyed. Plus, now that you're just clones with consciousness that's running yourselves, don't you feel a little bit more sympathetic to the micro heroes' avatars themselves that you just throw into these combat situations and have massacred? What if they have feelings?
They should roll better then.
I rolled boxcars for my initiative.
I rolled a
14.
4. My permanent
7.
micro hero's body isn't doing very well.
Then we're gonna roll a tactics or leadership.
Yeah, I can do a leadership.
I can do a tactics is
Hold on. Bad guys are 6 for the little guys. And 6 for the big bad. That makes it nice and easy.
and a 5 for tactics.
8 for leadership.
5 for tactics doesn't do anything for you. 8 for leaderships gives you 1 boost point that you can allocate to any given player.
Okie dokie.
Alright. Holmes, oh wait, no, they're not in order.
Oh yeah, no, I am definitely not first.
Frank, I believe you're the highest number on here.
I'm gonna shoot another husk. Yeah, thing.
Okay. So you pop out of the water and you pop one in the face, and then you turn to barrel down on another one, and
I got a 8.
roll damage.
Nice.
Not really necessary, but let's do it anyway.
9.
It's dead.
Oh wait, plus 3. 12.
Its plus 3 by itself was actually enough to do it.
Oh, that's cool.
Those are all on fire and almost dead. And all they want to do is hug. Get love.
Me too, husks. Me too.
Please.
Who's next?
Your first thought was, I don't have to pay child support. I'm not that guy.
That's not what I said.
He said, it's not what I said. Somebody go back and clip it. That's totally what he said.
I said I don't even know who I am anymore.
All right, so I'm going to shoot the big bad.
Okay.
Got an 11.
Do your damage. Don't forget to include your effect.
So that's an 18.
It occurs to you as this flaming Hulk is charging down on you that the last one had like a human brain suspended in a bottle, and like where the head goes, and you just drill your shot straight into that thing and it bursts, and the Hulk just skids to a flaming stop right in front of the fountain.
Score!
God damn.
I love this gun.
We should go back for more.
Yeah, Captain picked up 2 more.
Yeah, I grabbed them all.
Luca pops up next and shoots the next one of these guys. They're still charging at us. Luca misses.
Alright, well, that makes it the baddie's turn, and the 3 that are left. Oops, I said 3 left, not 4. Go back to sleep. comes charging in. First little piggy takes a flying leap on top of Luca and bites him square in the neck for 1 whole damage. Luckily, Luca's in the water and doesn't take fire damage. Second little piggy goes to jump at Frank, lands short in the water, puts himself out, and short circuits in the water. Little sparks and shit start dancing in the water right above his corpse. Third little piggy bypasses both of them and tries to bite Holmes. For 1 point of damage, assuming Holmes doesn't have dodge of any kind.
I do have a dexterity of 1 in
Yeah.
athletics.
Would you like to dodge?
I would like to dodge.
He misses. He bites the concrete pillar.
Sweet.
It's Holmes' turn.
I'm gonna shoot a guy.
Okay.
Like, charged right at me. Yep, shooting him.
He's at point blank.
Yep. Wow.
Rolled snake eyes, didn't you?
3.
Pretty close.
But even with, 2 in energy and 1 in dexterity and point blank, still missed.
Did you aim at him?
No, I did not aim at him.
Can't point blank and aim at the same time, I don't think. I could be wrong, I'll double check, but I don't think you can do both of those. Alright, so that brings us top of the round. Frank.
I'm gonna say the captain.
Well, that's good because I think this one's dead.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
you
it.
said that was 8 to hit. That
Okay,
plus 2 is helping me.
you can roll your damage if you want, but you don't have to.
Oh, I'd love to. Down made 12 damage.
Plus 3. Or was that with
Yep.
your plus 3?
That's 12 with the plus 3.
Alright, you blow his fuzzy little brains out. How many shots you got left?
That puts me at 6.
Okay. Little holographic thing comes up a little bit more often, like periodically to remind you, but it's not making any noise or anything yet. Alright. Aiden. You still
So-
living off the high of having taken down the big bad and realize
Yeah.
that there's still one on top of Luca. It's like bit
Well,
him
we're
in
gonna have
the
to
neck.
take care of that one.
Okay. You gonna try to shoot him while he's biting Luca?
I get to try. I want to try and get around him so that I don't have Luca in my crossfire.
They are grappling. There is no way to avoid the negative penalty if you want to shoot.
Yep, we're gonna do it anyway.
Okay. Take a -1.
Okay, roll the 9 minus the 1 goes 8. I have energy of 1, so it goes back to 9.
Well, that's a hit. Do your damage. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, because it will kill him. But you can do your damage if you want to.
Dexterity, too.
All right, so 14 plus 3, 17 plus 1 for the effect is going to be 18.
You do shit tons of damage. Like, there's so much more than you needed there.
I just like the big numbers.
Yep, you obliterate the shit out of this thing. And I think that's the last bad guy.
They definitely know we're here.
Luca takes a second to recompose himself as he just shat his pants as a laser beam split this thing that was inches from his face in half.
Is this small enough that I can drag it onto the tram with us?
Not single-handedly. You would need another person to help you.
I'll help you if you want them.
Yeah, I want to see what we can, if I can pull off some other weaponry.
Okay.
Sounds good. I agree.
I'm gonna start figuring out how to drive a tram.
Okay. So,
Choo-choo.
I'm gonna be a bit cheeky here and say that driving a tram is drive tracked. Lols, because tracks. Yeah. No, okay.
Yeah.
It's drive track to drive a tram. And how do you want to go about getting... So this guy's arm is a machine gun. How do you want to go about getting it?
So it's a slug weapon.
It is a slug weapon.
Okay.
It's a man-portable heavy weapon.
Oh, well, I have a 0 in man portable as well. All right, so I'm going to ask for the kit that Aiden got for the doors. It had some screwdrivers and some snips in it.
Okay.
I'm going to sit, I guess, I'm going to try to attack at the elbow and separate it at a hinged point where I think I might be able to get it out.
Okay.
I got a little torch for you,
I'm
too.
gonna call that a mechanics
the
check.
torch. Okay. Guess who doesn't have mechanics?
I'll be right back.
I can do it.
Oh, I'll help you.
All right, so we're doing mechanics then?
Yeah. What you need to do is, I guess, I don't need to tell you what to do.
No, I'm going to do just what you told me to do.
Make sure you get a lot of the trigger system. That'll help.
Okay, we got a 11.
Okay. You're gonna remove this machine gun. This machine gun fires at auto 3. Okay. This machine gun fires only in automatic mode, meaning it fires 9 bullets at a time at up to 3 targets at 3 attacks each time. And it has 90 rounds.
Okay.
All you, Frank.
Quick math is at 10 trigger pulls then.
Yes, 10 trigger pulls as far as like what it would look like. However, mechanically, each of those trigger pulls is 3 attacks.
Sounds like you might be running point.
Until he runs out of ammo.
Yeah. I put the little ring gun in my pocket,
Okay.
and then I sling this thing out.
It's also worth noting that this thing is incredibly heavy, and you'll be taking a -2 unless your strength is a +1 or higher.
It is.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'm really only good for one thing.
You can't
When,
snipe
when, when are we
with
going to
that
find out what that one thing is?
Well, my father used to say that I was stupid and had no skills whatsoever. He was a tough man, but I loved him.
Came back.
Tough,
Welcome
but,
back.
Tough but fair, some would say.
Yes.
thing. Frank's got a new gun.
Did you get ammo for your new gun?
I've got 90 bullets.
Yay!
Alright. You should figure out how to run the tram.
It's on the track. You better not wreck it.
+1. Is this education?
Have you ever been trained to run a tram?
I have drive 0, so I have.
Okay, I'll allow it.
I do have drive tracked. There's also it's got a forward and a backwards. It's got a lever one way or the other, or at least that's what I'm hoping.
There's a brake release.
But I bet every train operator ever is counting on the first person to be like, well, it only goes forward and backward. How bad could it be? Before they derail it.
Yeah. Gotta mind your speed.
There's a steering wheel.
Wait, what?
This is
You got
like
a big
Charlie at the
one?
Chocolate Factory. Goes everywhere.
Oh, Aiden, you should have taken some of that armor off and try to put that on your chest. Or we should have just had that guy sitting back here next to me, so it looks like just their guy is coming back.
Yeah, we could have propped him up or something like that.
And puppet him back here.
So I'm good doing that.
I'm gonna take us kind of slowly towards the center of the ship. Right, Captain?
Yep.
Also, that thing bit me. Am I gonna become a zombie now? Is that how it works?
Yes, you're fucked.
I got a scalpel, man. We can cut your arm off or whatever it was bitten.
My neck.
Oh, you don't need a head, do you?
You always cut my head off with that laser pistol.
Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
We've got a few of those.
Now that's something Frank could say.
Frank's dad.
My father used to say.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but was he your father?
Oh my god.
He was a wise man, whichever one it was.
I guess Bob is all of our fathers now.
He's a child. I said it earlier, we should thank Bob for the time we have left.
Concur.
How long are we going to be on this tram for?
How long do you want to go?
Stop speed.
It's not super fast, but it's fast. You wouldn't want to jump off of it.
As long as we don't turn to plaid.
Oh, you're not going to turn to plaid.
Are we seeing anything else, or are we just riding a tram closer to the center?
I mean, you are seeing stations go by. It's for traveling up and down the length and width of the ship.
Do we see any people?
Give me a perception roll.
Uh, 7. Fuck.
Want to push the roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it again.
Frank, you're real close to the edge.
Well, what he's doing is he's not concealing himself.
Oh, there it is. I got an 11 that time.
Okay. There are occasional groups of people amongst the husks wearing like robes and shit. They don't really pay much mind to the train, and they're very rare. But they are there.
This whole place is run on a skeleton crew, it seems like, fellas.
Did you roll an 11 or a 12?
Yeah. I rolled an 11. No, I rolled 10, and then I got a +1 in recon.
Would you like to spend a player point?
I'll player point it up. I already pushed this motherfucker. Let's go ahead and just do it.
You roll past a terminal, and there's a full-blown combat going on between a group of white-robed individuals and a group of the purple-robed individuals you've seen. Their robes look considerably different, but they are both wearing robes.
There's like a civil war going on here, fellas. Did you guys see that? There were some white robe people fighting purple robe people.
It was a white and purple blur.
Are we going to turn around and go help white or purple?
No, I'm just saying maybe we aren't.
Maybe we got some more options.
Yeah. Aren't so fucked here. Sorry for my French.
Yeah, so I put the brakes on, and we turn back around, and we help one of those guys out.
Why? We don't know which one we're helping.
No, we should continue on with our self-destruct plan.
Got it. Self-destruct.
I would agree.
Like, it's a useful piece of information, but aside from that, like, we don't know who the quote good guy or bad guy, or maybe they're bad guy and badder guy. Like,
Yeah, they're all shitty people that just shot us.
I mean, those were brains and humans that used to...
I'm going to reiterate something I just said, because I'm not sure it was caught. The robes that the white ones are completely different than the Temple of Unity people. They are not the same robes dyed a different color.
Okay.
There is an assumption you've made that is fatally incorrect.
You want me to stop this tram and go help the white ones that are clearly not Temple
Nope,
of
you
Unity?
guys made that decision already. I'm not trying to metagame force you into something. I just don't want you to carry on to the end of this with an incorrect conclusion.
Roger.
Because that's something he would have seen. He would have been very obvious. So I need to make sure that Matt's character knows that those are different. He would not have assumed they were the same group of people.
So the purple ones I could assume are the Unity
The purple
guys.
ones you've seen before when you attacked the Temple of Unity on. You've seen these guys before. The white ones you have not seen before. You know what? There's a chance you might have. Let's give it a luck roll. Give yourself a +1. There's an even better chance you would have.
Got an 8.
The white robes are Zudani robes.
Fellas, the white robe guys are the Zidani. Makes sense, right?
Sure.
The tram keeps
I'm
going.
desperately going through my notes.
Go through your briefing on Agent Dexter. So if
Anyway,
you guys are going to stay on this tram long enough, and eventually you are going to come to the back of the ship.
Is that where we want to go?
No.
Anywhere, like, we can get off anywhere here in the back center-ish. We should be somewhere where we should see signs of getting towards the power plant or engineering of some sort.
I'm going to slow down the tram as we get a little bit closer. Look for an uninhabited. I don't know if I can figure that out.
And I do a perception roll to look, like, 'cause in a ship you're going to see, like, differences from fancy hallways that are for people and whatnot, and to, like, more mechanical, like, signs of being towards the power source.
Yeah, that's a good question. Have we gotten out of the area where it's more palace looking?
So it's all going to have a certain regal feel to it. However, the gold inlaid parts of the station are definitely passed by you. And you're definitely into a more industrial looking section of the ship. But it's still pretty fancy for a starship.
As long as we seem to be decreasing our class level.
Yeah, that's like here's a good point to get out and
Okay.
further investigate, see what we can find out.
Just for the shits and giggles, someone give me a navigate roll to say we're getting off on this station, so I can see how close you land.
When do you want me to hit the stop button there, Frank?
Okay.
You're a navigator, right?
Hell no, I wasn't the navigator.
I don't think any of us have navigate. Anyway,
Nope.
I'll roll it. -3?
Okay. I mean, you're on the ship.
Yeah.
You're somewhere in the industrial zone that is the, inner gibbings of the ship. And there do appear to be more technician-style presence here, although you still haven't been properly spotted. What do you want to do?
Let's pull over at the next station and jump out sneaky like.
Well, that's what you just did.
Okay.
That's what that roll was for.
Let's
Okay.
jump out sneaky like that.
Well,
Yeah.
you get off the
well, you
station
just-
into an empty station, so you can be as sneaky or not as you want.
Okay, let's find some sort of terminal. I'm gonna make a perception check to see if there's any sort of terminal or, like I said earlier, like like station map kind of thing.
You are 2 levels above the main reactor complex, which is the size of a small building. Multiple floors, multiple sections.
All right, guys. Looks like we gotta go down. Yeah,
It's time to find some lifts.
lifts and or stairs.
I mean, our plan is to just go to the main reactor and put a data wafer in and hit the self-destruct protocol.
And or potentially take down the shields or stop the ship or.
And find some way off this ship.
I have explained that it's not an automatic. You don't do what Kizik just said to self-destruct. The self-destruct protocol is a set of instructions of how you would initiate the self-destruct, not I put the chip in and it goes boom.
Yeah, and we have not yet figured out what those instructions are.
I mean, it's on the chip and you could read it, but you haven't.
Yeah, and again, I'll iterate. Unless we want to do the blaze of glory thing, we need to find an exit out.
Also, you're completely forgetting the other vital piece of information you have. Blowing up this ship will not stop the Charmax from being, you will help, you will not defeat.
Yeah, because we have that interference thing.
Yep. But from an engineering terminal instead of a scientific terminal, we can potentially have more access to take a look at those things.
That's a good idea, Captain. Let's go find us a terminal.
We also have our tablets that we can try reading these things on.
Agreed. Following you.
Okay.
Alright.
So when you say you got these tablets you can try to read these things on, you guys just had that long tram ride and you're by yourself. Are any of you going to take the time to actually read these things?
I will, yes.
Okay. Which one do you want to read first?
Self-destruct, because I like blowing things up.
Okay. To initiate a self-destruct, you have to disable all of the fuel and reactor suppression safeties. You have to retract the fuel pods into the middle of the ship. And then you have to simultaneously trigger the detonation from the command center on the bridge and the main engineering console. If it's not simultaneously done, it won't destroy the ship.
You said simultaneously done.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's disable the fuel pods,
Not
retract them
disable.
to the center of the ship.
Disable the safeties.
All right, yeah, that's the
Safeties on the
word.
fuel reactors.
Yeah,
And then
basically
the
you
fuel
want to turn
pod.
off all the fire suppression. Bring the fuel pod arms in, and then detonate them, along with the reactor.
Is there any kind of delay on detonation?
It doesn't say.
Safeties, fire suppression, all that kind of stuff. Retract the fuel pods, and then it's detonate. What was it simultaneously? Sorry, I'm writing it down.
From the bridge command console and the main engineering console.
Two separate locations, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
very
Well, that means
separate.
down that we need to find those places and what those even are.
We're probably relatively close to main engineering. We are probably exceptionally far away from the bridge.
So probably find engineering, maybe put like a waypoint of some kind at the engineering area so we know how to get back to it, or somebody needs to stay behind.
Potentially.
Can I have read the interference protocol text?
Sure. So basically, there's a wavelength on which the Charmax are being controlled as though the cybernetic implants are their queen. The interference protocol basically sends a signal that burns out that receptor in the Charmax, so they can't be controlled. They go completely wild and feral, which isn't going to stop them from killing the good guys, but it will start them killing the bad guys.
And
So
so
I'm
there's
assuming some kind of a hive mentality, right?
They normally do, yes. However, if they lose their ability to get in touch with their queen, they berserk. They'll even
this
attack.
frequent
They'll even attack each other.
That could be good and bad.
the frequency is a broadcast.
It's a broadcast, but it has to be sent over the network that this implant is on, and that has to be done from the command center or the communications and command center. So there's like a drone control center that's controlling them on the ship.
Got 3 places to go. All right, Captain. What do you think we can do first?
1 second, writing stuff down. I think we're here at the engineering spaces. We can go down and check out engineering, and find out if we can, like, how much it would take to disable the fuel pods and their safety. Because we could do most of that from down here in engineering, and then we'll just need to go push buttons to finish that off. So we could do that. We can look into the computers after we've retracted the fuel pods and see if we can disable them from fixing it while we run off to the command and control center into the bridge, and then run off and do the interference protocols, and then go find the main consoles and self-destruct the ship. Because at least if we disable the fuel pods, the safeties and everything, and retract them, they'll be on what I assume, without looking in the engineering specs, unlimited fuel, so at least it stops the ship. However, if they don't know we're here, which they probably already know we're here, they're gonna be a little angry when we do that.
Well, they do have this Zodani problem. Those guys in white robes, they aren't really on our side, but they're not really on their side either. So I don't suggest getting caught by either purple robes or white.
So the enemy of my enemy is also my enemy.
Bingo.
Well, in this case, the guy Dexter, you remember him? He was Zodani.
He was
Was it-
not
was-
on our side.
Wasn't he hanging out with the snake guys too?
Yeah.
Do we know, or do you know what their motivations are? Like, why would they be fighting them?
What, the snake people?
Why would the Zodani be fighting the Temple of Synthetic Unity?
That's a question we might be able to find the answer to.
Because we may end up with the enemy of my enemy as my friend. But first steps go to engineering because, well, we're already here.
All right, let's find a lift.
Concur.
Okay. You guys find a lift down to main engineering, which is with the reactor room that you were 2 stories above. And as you lower yourself into the main engineering space, you see a number of corpses. The place is just completely shitboxed. There's been a firefight down here. And, yeah, it's quite a mess. And
Who were
in the
were
middle
the
of the room,
combatants?
you see a couple of Zudani and a very powerful psionic-looking person. They don't seem to see you.
What are they doing?
They seem to be doing something with the engineering console. As you, like, you guys have gotten out off on, like, an upper mezzanine, so you're looking down on them from up in the equipment almost. There's maybe 4 or 5 of them, from what you can tell.
And they're all... There's Zodani, and... Well, they all look like Zodani, and...
Well, so most of them are wearing a helmet. Only the woman is showing her face. The others are wearing those robes, but with like a white armor helmet and some white armor plating. And most of them are carrying rifles. This lady just uses psionics. Like when one of the husks wakes up, she grabs it, throws it all the way up to like eye level with you guys, and then pulls it back down to the ground at like Mach 10, and it smacks in the ground and shatters.
Okay.
So she doesn't like the zombies?
Well, we got 2 ways we can handle this. We can talk to him, or we can fight him. If we fight him, it's a fair bet that any chance of us working together are gone. And there's a lot of them, and she's crazy powerful. And we have laser pistols and a couple grenades.
Yeah, I don't want to get Mach 10 if I could help it.
Agreed.
Go ahead and talk to her, Captain. You got this.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's have that leadership persuade. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. Leadership, not my thing.
I'm going to let you guys talk about this for a second. I need to step away for just a second.
So we want to talk, right? That's what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
I mean, because they're armored. We have a couple of makeshift incendiary grenades. Like, we could take them, I guess, maybe, but I don't know what their armor's like. If we all aim and shoot at Psionic Lady, and potentially, hopefully, she doesn't have any shields or clairvoyance or any of those other psionic skills, but we don't know these things. And two, like, if we get on the same team as them and have different objectives, like one of us takes engineering, the other one takes the bridge, it's safe to say it'll be easier to self-destruct the ship with two groups than it is with one of us, because to do it simultaneously, we'll have to split the group.
Well, this could be an opportunity for us to potentially use our spy tactics, basically, and lie about who we are to be able to persuade them to be friends and allies, maybe for a period of time.
What are we going to tell them of who we are then?
Yeah, I have no clue. I know it just sounded interesting.
I just don't know what I would lie about. Like, I'm a random.
Lusk.
Yeah.
I'm one of you, but I don't have my robes anymore.
Yeah, I don't think we're that good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not that good at lying.
She might be able to tell if you're lying anyway. We should just go up and
Yeah.
I'll stay in the shadows, maybe snipe if things go crazy.
I feel like this is one of those like all-in moments, though. Like we either show them all of our hand or none of it, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, that's true too.
You can say
what little credibility we get, like we lose if we're sneaking around or trying to get better shots on them. Then we look more like we're distracting them while we're trying to get a better shot on them by trying to not engage them. Again, just an opinion.
betting our second lives that she doesn't just pull our hearts out.
Well, I mean, there's advantages of knowing, like, they've already taken over engineering.
Pulling your hearts out? What? Are we
Yep.
going to do a Indiana Jones thing?
We're trying to avoid that, yes.
Well, maybe they have the same exact plan as us to try and do the self-destruction thing, and that's why they're down here.
I mean, it's the only reason you take engineering. Well, to stop the ship one way or the other. But my vote's on going down and talking. Do we have any dissenting opinions?
Nope, following.
Nope, not here.
Well, right. I can still have my gun out, right?
Yeah, no, I totally intend on having my gun out. Not going to be pointed at them.
Can I have the other one? I'm going to go dual wielding.
Yeah, you can have my extra third one. 2 dual wielding, yeah.
Charge one up. I'll try to get it that one shot, pistol headshot, after the shields are broken.
All right, who's going down first?
I will.
There's a wire grate lift that brings you down to their level. They see you on the way down, and some of them snap rifles towards you, but none of them fire.
Yep, my weapons are, like, pistols are in both hands. They're not, like, they're at the ready, but they're not pointed at them or anything like that. And the 3 of you, if you can spread out, and again, don't, like, kind of just like they are, like, be ready. Don't be pointing your weapons at them.
Copy.
Is this a one-person lift?
2 people could squeeze in.
I'm going to be right beside you.
All right.
All right.
So, you descend down the lift, and as you get closer, you recognize this woman, although her hair was not white the last time you saw her. And it was not short. But she is definitely one of the ladies that was hanging out with the Nether-do-wells on San Ronald Station. And she recognizes you as well, as apparent by a look on her face. And she's like, stop. You're one of the crews from the station. I am Zelda Ventari of the Zidani. What are you doing here?
Well, that's a long story. Short version is we died. And woke up here. Okay, maybe it wasn't a long story. Maybe it was a really short story.
You see genuine shock on her face. Not disbelief. Shock. Huh. That's true, isn't it?
Yep.
And you're trying to find a way to destroy the ship.
That's what saves all the people. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And the weird, crazy cyber spider husk things, all of the things. Stop all the bad things.
Frank, you're up on the platform above.
I was coming down when I had a chance, and the lift came back up.
Okay. Zelda's eyes snap to Frank, and she's like, and you killed Dexter.
Is that gonna be an issue between us working together here?
She seems to be having trouble dealing with that statement, and she says, I suspect that will be an issue for you at some point. But what we're doing here does seem to be more important than the fact that you killed my husband.
Yeah, that would be a proud moment.
Mic drop.
Yep.
Okay. Well, aside from that, interesting new development. Yeah, I feel like what are you guys trying to do here?
Well, our plan was to overload the reactor and cripple the ship. Without power, it can't fire its weapons or raise its shields. While we don't mind it taking out Alliance personnel, the people of the islands would be much better off without the Alliance around. It's currently killing the people of the islands themselves. And this horrible amalgamation of cybernetics and organics is unpure.
Agreed. We have a way to, or we believe we have a way to shut down all the cybernetics. Shut down's the wrong word. To disconnect all of the ones from that are off the ship, and
As Holmes is giving this speech, Frank, you're still up top, and you see the opposite side open, and baddies start marching through.
Can I yell out contact?
You can if you want.
Contact!
are they on ground level or up on in the mezzanine?
They're up in the mezzanine on Frank's level. They're on the opposite catwalk as him.
I don't care if you're tired or not. You're gonna.
All right. I guess I start shooting.
Okay. Frank's going with shooting. You can go ahead and make your attack if you want. I will give the players all 1 round to decide what they want to do.
Oh yeah, that man portable.
They're
Targets.
They're close enough together that you can get multiple targets.
Shit, he's rolling too.
Oh my god. 11, 11, 10.
you get 3 of the husks unless you want to go for one of the big bads.
Yeah, I'll just do the 3 husks.
I apologize. I have to step away for a second.
No worries.
It's okay. You won't die in the process. It'll be fine.
Him and Zelda are having a telepathic conversation.
Zelda doesn't require a conversation. She can instantly see your entire mind.
Who's
Okay.
next?
Somebody other than the captain needs to go. And by the way, you're not restricted to combat actions, but you can also make combat actions.
I mean, Luke is gonna shoot. He's gonna say, "We got your back here. We'd like to disable this in a different way. But you might already know that." And he's gonna hold up. Oh, can you dual wield? I don't know if I've ever even made that thought before.
You can dual wield. The rules for it are a little funny. So basically, it gives you a +1, and that's it.
Well, that's not good at all. And plus, we're running limited ammo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dual wielding is usually useful if you're using 2 different types of weapons. So you've got like a melee weapon and a pistol. And then you don't really use them both in the same turn. But you have them both ready and available, and you don't have to manage your gear.
got 2 pistols. I'm gonna take the right hand one. I'm gonna aim for that divine conduit. I'm gonna aim for his noggin because I knew that's where that was.
Okay. Would you like to take the DM -1, I think it is, or maybe it's 2 to make a called shot?
To call my shot, yeah, I'll take that -1.
Okay.
Is it -1?
I don't have my notebook, so I can't tell you. On being on travel means that I don't have the ability to look at any of my reference material. We'll just call it a -1. It's not worth.
Right. Not worth control effing. -1. Energy weapon. Wow. Rolled a 10. Rolling well. 10 plus 2 minus 1 is 11.
Okay, add your effect.
Oh, continuing to roll well. 14 plus 3 plus 3 is 20.
You shatter that plate that is holding the brain and the cybernetic body, and this thing tumbles over the railing and then down to the floor, making an incredible thud as it impacts with a almost half car-sized dent into the deck plating. Top that, Thodups.
I am going to take a shot at one of the husks.
Okay.
And got a 11.
Okay. Add the effect to your damage.
So 11 and plus 3 is 14. Then we got that, so 17.
Wow. It's way more than you need. Okay, so you blast one of them into the Kingdom Come. He's down. There's 4 husks left. Since the captain hasn't gone, we can't go, I'm going to let Zelda go. And she's just going to pull the whole grate down. She's going to grab psionically, telekinetically, the actual grate they're standing on and pull the whole thing down. And I'm going to deem that fall damage from that height is 3d6. So there's 1 dead. Oh, that one's going to live. There, 1 lived. That one died. lived. Well, shit, 2 of them lived through that. And now they're on the ground floor. This would be an opportune time for the captain to come back and finish this up. Also, this is about as far as I'm willing to let you go before we hit the end of part 1. So we are going to end up finishing early tonight.
I thought Naden was going to shoot a bolt in that grate and have the whole grate fall down.
That's what I thought you guys were going to do from the onset.
Such a good idea. Ugh.
Okay, Aiden comes back magically, shoots these 2 in the head, kills them both, and the Zidani lady is like, alright, so we have to work together. We can settle our disputes later. We have to control both this room, which I can control with my men, and the bridge. I suggest you go to the bridge and initiate the self-destruct from there.
We need some way to do it simultaneously. You have a way to talk to us?
She holds a hand out to one of her guards, who tosses her a mobile comm, and she tosses it to you.
All right, then.
Oh man, she tossed it up a level to Frank, who's in the corner.
She could have guided
Mocked
it into
in.
his pocket if she wanted to.
I was going to say.
We also have a way to. You already talked about the charm next, right?
She didn't, nor does she care.
Oh. Well, we're gonna do that.
Don't dawdle. Taking out the ship is of utmost concern. If you're not in position within, say, 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to have to send some of my men to take care of the job.
All right, then.
And that's where we're going to end up calling it. As you guys are embarking on your next part of the mission to get to the top of the bridge and help trigger the self-destruct after stopping in the comm zone and trying to disable the Charmax in the process. And you
Calm zone and
and
bridge.
you still haven't figured out whether or not you can delay the self-destruct. So, I know that was shorter than a usual session, but what does everyone think of part 1 of the finale?
Really good. I do have a question for Aiden, though. I killed those last 2 guys there that were down on the bottom there. I'm trying to keep track of my ammunition. Was that 2 shots, 1 shot?
Holmes
Keep
killed those
it,
last 2. The
Oh,
captain,
Home did? Okay.
I said the captain kills those last 2.
Oh, gotcha.
Because
Okay. Well, then
he's
I
not
will-
actually here to get his turn. And
Oh, gotcha. I thought you said Aiden. That's my mistake.
I do get you 2 confused all the time. But I thought I said the captain.
No worries.
It's cool. I was very sad and shocked at the like first 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, you didn't think I was going to kill just your character, right?
I did for 30 seconds.
Then we started dropping like flies.
Yeah, I think we were all equally confused about what was going on when it first started.
In my first draft, it was Frank that got to have the big heroic moment of like shoving Annika and Holmes out of the airlock to like save them. But the more I thought about it, the more I couldn't reconcile like where you all would be and what you all would be doing, and it ended up being the captain that did it. But originally, it was going to be Frank.
I am kind of concerned about this whole dynamic between Zelda and Frank.
Yes, Frank should be more concerned than you.
Oh no, I get that. I'm not concerned about it. I'm just saying that would freak me out if I was Frank.
Come on, Zelda. It's not him. That was his other body.
Yeah, technically I didn't do it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
think,
the other guys did.
you think that's gonna fly with her? It might. You might be able to pull that off, but I doubt it. But it won't matter right now because she is more determined to destroy the ship than she is to get revenge. However, when we start talking about season 2, should you continue to play Frank, that's a concern you would want to take with you.
Understood.
And on that little tidbit, I'm going to say